Hi, I'm Lisa Crow, and welcome to What the Hell Moments with Lisa Crow on behalf of the Oklahoman. I am, as always, your hostess with the mostest, Lisa Crow. Now, I know you're shaking your head right now going, Lisa, you're not in your office. Obviously, I'm in old Germany, in Choctaw, Oklahoma. We're bringing a subject to you that's so big, it's so wonderful, it's so fabulous, that I cannot contain it at all. Because today, we're going to be talking about sex. And not only sex, but sex over the age of 50. Ooh, delish. This is so good and so much fun that I had to bring in a panel of experts. Well, they're not really experts, but they're all fun and they're over the age of 50, and we're all going to gossip with you and tell you good things, tips and tricks and fun and woohoo! So, stick around. We're going to have a good time. I'm excited to introduce you to our panel. Today we have Nicole Schoonover, 52 years old. Wave at the crowd, say hello, do your best princess thing here. A mortgage banker from Oklahoma City, married 1 year, and a breast cancer survivor. We have Malia McQuarrie, is that correct? 52 years old, a holistic nutritionist and a certified health and wellness coach from Shawnee. She's been married 4 years, puppy. Joan Curtis is 45. Now, we decided to bring in a token youth here, but she's spicy and you're going to like her. She's a licensed producer with Michelle Schaefer Farmers Insurance of Edmond. She's married to a fireman. That's why we brought her. We just wanted to hear about it. She has 4 kids and she's been married 18 years. Golf clap. There it is. All righty. Yvette Walker is 53 and editor extraordinaire with the Oklahoman, teacher, blogger, and currently single. Leslie Jenny is 52. Wave at the crowd, Jenny. She is the co-owner of Jenico Overhead Door and Indulge What a Girl Wants from Hera. She is married to Gordon, the fabulous. Bobby Freeman, 67, is a community volunteer, former mayor of the city of Choctaw, very active in Rotary, has 6 grandkids, 2 children, and has been married to the love of her life, Butch, for a very long time.
47 years.
I love that. Again, golf clap. How all this started was about a month ago. Norman came home for leave after being gone for a year in Iraq. And we did what all couples do. We promptly broke the bed. Oh, Lord. Okay. And as we're picking up pieces of wood, we're talking about, oh, good, we get to buy a new bed. And the question wound up being, what do we want to buy? And then after a while, the entire discussion disintegrated into what we can do in the bed because we've reached a certain age. Now, take it from me. These knees, they're shot. His back, it's gone. So we've got a tape measure out, and we're going, and then we do, and how can you, and it was just a little bit of, I'm not quite sure how this is going to work after a while, which led me and this group, so many of us, to discussing the pros and cons about sex over the age of 50. What were the challenge? What are the fun? What are the problems? What are the things we're experiencing? So that's my first question for this group right now. Panelists, my first question is, what are fun and different ways that you can suggest for listeners and viewers, how to compensate for things that are just shot on the human body? Bobby, I'm going to lead with you.
Well, let me go ahead and tell you. A little wine, lots of good music can take care of anything.
Oh, more limber. I like that. All right, that works for me. Other suggestions, ladies? Because face it, we've all got some challenges here. I mean, things work, things don't. What do you think?
I know for me, I need a back massage usually just so I can relax, because a lot of times, just the day I work, I have 4 kids, tense, and so just like when we were dating, it was a signal that something could happen. If I get a back massage, I'm pretty much easy pickings.
Leslie and Malia, I know both of you are advocates for for natural hormones. And you guys have really got some good stories about it. I, on the other hand, am an advocate for anything in prescription form that has to do with a hormone, and I'm scared half to death to get off them because I'm afraid I'll kill somebody. Tell me a little bit about your journey into using natural hormones and what you've experienced along the way. Leslie, I'm going to throw it to you first.
Okay, first, I went with it because my sister is a survivor of breast cancer. So I feared using hormones. And then, of course, menopause came along, and I went to see my nurse practitioner. And she suggested the natural form. And so I have a pellet implanted every 90 days.
Where do you have it implanted at?
In my hip.
Oh, okay.
Every 90 days. And it is a natural form of hormones.
Malia, tell us.
You know.
Actually, I don't know because I started the same thing. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was directly linked to her synthetic hormone therapy that she was taking.
Oh.
So I became a avid learner in finding out what can I do to prevent this. And then after 5 years, when her cancer came back, I was working in the biotech pharmaceutical field. So I understood about all the side effects, and I didn't want to go that route.
Wow.
So I always recommend it's a bioidentical hormone cream, which it's made from plants.
Now, I've got to ask her about this. Okay, if you use it, how does it make you feel different? Does it make you feel great? Have you lost weight on it? What do you do?
Losing weight, that's a whole nother topic. There's a lot of voices on that one.
Preach on, sister. I want to hear about it.
So, but one of the reasons I started using it is Mililani's my nutrition coach, and so she's actually helping me create some of these because my sister also had breast cancer, and it was directly linked to synthetic hormones. So, and now she has to go off those synthetic hormones, and she literally was hit like a truck with menopause, and it hit her overnight. And so I was like, yeah, I want to avoid that at all cost. So I talked to Mililani about it, and it's new for me, but I will let you know. I'll get back to the viewers on that one. But I know for me, I have a lot of the issues that go along with the lack of hormones after having 4 babies and 4 miscarriages due to hormone deal. So I have the facial hair. I shave more than I have sex, actually. So, so I was really in need. It's like my husband and I shave daily together. But so yeah, it makes it fun.
That's your foreplay.
Yeah, right. Yes, we start preparing shaving cream. So I'm really looking forward to some of those hormones coming back. And lack of sex drive is one of the problems that I have because after all that hormone loss, it's just like it's depleted, it's gone. So
I recently started the bioidenticals. It is kind of a pump, but not exactly the way you described it. And I don't have any of the symptoms that you frequently hear. The night sweat or the sweats. I'm not experiencing that. Mm-hmm. However, the doctor said it's good to go ahead and begin this because if you take your blood work, you know that you're low on certain hormones. So you don't have to experience certain symptoms to know that. But I'm really not. And so it's kind of interesting that you can still go on, hormones. And some will tell you the bioidenticals and some will say synthetic. It's certainly up to you and your doctor to make that decision. Right. But yeah.
Well, some of the symptoms too is like hair growth around the chin.
Well, let's not talk about that.
Well, I want to move from that to, we hear a lot about women's problems, okay? But whenever I was doing research, because I wanted to sound like I knew what I was talking about, when I sat down with you girls, it seems like everything on the internet was about men. I couldn't get over it. It was about their health and how it affected their sex drive. That really leads me to a question about low T. Okay, we've given it up for the girls. Let's talk about the guys now. And for those of you who don't know, we're talking about low testosterone. The symptoms are often tiredness, weight gain, loss of sex drive, becoming a bear overnight. It's male menopause at its finest. I got to ask the group, have any of your partners experienced low T? And if they have, what's it been like for you and what changes have you guys seen?
I don't know if it's so much low testosterone. With us just being married a year, one thing that we experienced was we were both aroused, but he could not keep it going.
Okay.
And so he has started ordering the blue pill online. He will not go to the doctor. I couldn't even tell you why. But anyway, that has made a huge difference. But the thing is because I'm menopausal through being forced into it, I don't have the emotional craziness, but I do have the dryness. There's not enough lubrication in America. We tried to buy into Exxon and can't seem to get enough. There's and when you do find something that works, it's so sticky and gross. You've got to shower after. I mean, it's just disgusting. So we've got the opposite problem. He wants to. It keeps him going and going and going, and I'm like, time out. This hurts. And my doctor, my cancer doctor, kept telling me the more you use it, it'll come back. And she had me read, because she does not believe in hormones whatsoever because of the breast cancer, nor does she believe in the natural hormones. So she had me read 50 Shades of Grey. When I started reading, I got it on tape and I was listening to it on the way to work. Didn't know what it was about. Got to work, had to go home. Called my doctor and said, "What kind of thing do you think I'm into?" It's not that. She says, "You've got to start using your imagination." And that's what's going to get you aroused.
OBGYN doctor?
Yes. And so
Does she have a library or something?
so
A little lending library here. Were your men so embarrassed about being seen as low T that they all just wanted to fall on the ground and die?
I think that's why my husband orders it online, is more of embarrassment and not wanting to admit, now that we're going to be on TV, everybody know about it, but I really think that's a lot of it. It's so embarrassing for them when that doesn't work and stay where it needs to be.
Well, my husband's a fireman, and I'm going to get in a lot of trouble.
Well, I'll be divorced.
He does have these issues, and he doesn't go to the doctor. I mean, he will not discuss any of it with them. I have to go to the doctor and just tell him what I've experienced, and the doctor will say, "Is that true?" Yes.
I feel like those old-time dolls where the women walked in and went, "Here, it is bothering here," and doing it that way. I mean, that you're having to do this. That's terrible.
And it is hard, and there's a stigma that goes with men losing their sex
there
drive
shouldn't
there shouldn't be. But unfortunately, the world is as it is, and I mean, and just for us, I mean, we're just sitting here talking about these
My
things.
husband, we've been married 34 years. He called me one day and he said, "Leslie, I'm driving down the highway. I start crying." He said, "I'm not sad. I'm not even upset. What's wrong with me?" And I said, "Welcome to my world." So I promptly called my nurse practitioner and said, "Gordon needs blood work," and found out he had low T. And today he would walk in here and tell every one of you to talk to your husbands, or he would just talk straight to them and say, "It's not
I'll give
worth
you my
it."
phone number.
I'll be glad to, because I give him an injection once a week. He feels better. He has energy. She said if he didn't take them, he's going to get man boobs. He does not have man boobs. So he gets his shot every Thursday.
That'd be perfect.
Just telling you, there are reasons, and there are healthy reasons for them to have their testosterone levels checked,
Right.
not just sex.
I want to hear from you.
Women in a pool of estrogen because of lifestyle,
Yes.
because of diet,
Yes.
because of stress. And men can be, we talk about just the women, but it affects the men too.
Absolutely.
I mean, they are out of balance with them.
As long as he thinks he can still conquer in the bedroom, he's fine with it. He doesn't think he's got low T. But, oh, by the way, that's just one part of it.
It's not all about
can't
sex.
get it. And I go,
He
get a
just
blood test. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I will. I'll tell him about it." Really? Does it ever happen? I don't think so.
Perimenopause can start at 35. So there's a lot of people that are experiencing, and some of them are linking that to hormonal change. I just don't think they know what to do about it. And frankly, I think a lot of times the doctors are overwhelmed. They don't know what to do. It's very
Yeah.
easy
And I think
to just write
especially
a
male
prescription.
doctors, they don't
Absolutely.
understand
No, they don't.
the female and what we're going through. You find other things at this age to be
Yeah.
intimate with. Like my husband and I cook together. that's a very intimate moment for us. We do things together that are very intimate, that, just talking and holding and touching and rubbing on each other, because sometimes the equipment doesn't work.
I need a minute.
That's exactly right, because really and truly with Butch and I, it's wonderful.
It's better sex.
When we lay there and talk and joke, and we'll talk about when we were younger and we had different positions and stuff like that we'd go through, and I'm going, well, that's not really looking good now.
Yeah.
So let's don't do that. Let's do something else. And we do. I mean, I think it's the warmth and the love
Yes.
that you feel now more than the truly sex.
Right.
And we need to have that communication, and we need to talk about this openly, or else, as women age and the problems that we're all talking about just becomes a big joke.
Bobby, I know you took care of your mom in her later years. I've got a friend of mine going through that right now. I know that type of situation had to affect the intimacy that you had in your relationship. Can you speak to that a little bit, and can you also give maybe some tips and ideas to some of our listeners about what to keep kind of that spice back in it and keep things going?
Well, it was difficult because Mom wasn't really old. She was only 76 when she passed away, but she had COPD, and she smoked like a freight train. And she would have to sit in our den. Well, our bedroom was right off of the den. And she would have to sit up in the chair so she could breathe. And so she never really went to the bedroom. And it was listening to the TV pretty much all night. And Bud come out and I said, Mom, turn it down, but you can't sleep. And he could actually sleep through a tornado. But it just was one of those things where it had interrupted your entire life.
Did you feel like a push me pull you between them during that time?
Yes. And being the in-between is horrible, because when he wants to be satisfied and I'm still have to go over here and attend to this situation or that situation, and I come back into the bedroom and guess what? He's asleep. So it's just one of those things that it's tough. It is very tough. And when I finally got Mom into, it wasn't an assisted living, it was an apartment, a senior apartment. And I visited her a lot, but it was less tension than it was when she was living under the roof.
I think Joan and I particularly have a little bit of in common on this one, because you're with the 4 kids, and anybody else have kids at home? There you go. How old?
I have one child, but she's 21 and getting ready to move back home, but I married a man with 5 children.
Whoa.
Okay. And then I have an 18-year-old high-functioning autistic child who I don't know if he'll ever be able to be out on his own or not. So, as far as intimacy is concerned, it's probably very hard for all of us, because their lives are constant. They're always involved in your life. There's everything. They're always underfoot or around or in the kitchen, or in my case, they're in the refrigerator going, Ma, there's not enough to eat, and you just put $300 worth of food in there. So for us, I mean, it's very hard to maintain that. Do you guys see that challenge also?
For me, I know, and this is something too that you need to address, is that a lot of people are raising their grandkids now. So that is an issue as well for women in this age group. But for me, Todd and I are really big on dating each other. Like, he literally calls me from work and asks me out, and we go to the movies, or we go. And he's a fireman. So it's done. So, but I think it's being intentional that our relationship comes first. So, I mean, and that's how we stayed married all this time. And we don't always like each other, but we always say, I don't like you, but I'm going to stay married to you. So, but I think we have to be very, very intentional about taking time out and going on little weekends and things like that. But I don't know about you guys, but that's one of the things that we've promised each other that we have to come first because one day the kids are gone.
Yeah, they really are.
You know,
That
and
is
I'm
very
stuck
good.
with this guy.
An awesome strategy, just like your wine and your music.
Yeah.
You're keeping
Dating.
that visuality. You're starting that early in the day or whenever, when you're talking, when you're planning in the week. That's
He'll call me and go,
Yeah,
"Hey, what are you doing this
absolutely.
weekend? I want to maybe go
That's,
out."
that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
So,
It's
yeah.
wonderful.
Nice.
Just
You're dating.
exactly what
Courting,
just
yeah.
like
That's what she
last
likes, and
night.
that's-
And you know, it really is wonderful, and you sit back and just chit chat.
Right.
Of course, we've got a dog now, which interrupts a lot of stuff.
It's like how we do it.
Right.
We go, like in the summertime, my kids are home, we go to breakfast. We'll leave at 7 in the morning, go to breakfast before they even get up. We've already had a date. So
Wow,
that we have
that's
time,
wonderful.
or we'll go to 11 o'clock maybe. We call it old people dating. We start having sex in the afternoon or having time together in the afternoon because the kids aren't home, they're at school.
I gotta ask the question because I've been out of the game for a while. How is it different from your 20s and 30s? And where do you find people nowadays? Is it all Match.com and all that crud?
Pretty much, it is.
Yes.
It's really
It is.
sad, and that was the hardest thing for me because I was married for 20 years. And
I was married for 13.
And so coming out of that and trying to meet people, because when I met people, you went to church or you went to a bar or your girlfriends fixed you up, and that's how you met people. Well, now everything was done online, and how I met my husband was actually online, but it was that POF.com, Plenty of Fish.
I like in my imagination, like,
No, my girlfriend put my profile.
Something else.
Well, it was funny because my girlfriend put me on it as a joke.
Oh, wow.
And I kept getting emails from POF and couldn't figure out where this. I thought it was something
Leslie's still down there. What does that
Like,
mean?
what is POF?
I'm going to
And you
introduce
gotta-
somebody.
I've been married too
You
long.
gotta throw that hook in and then you
Get him out.
I'm going to introduce real quick. Jennifer Rogers is a friend and just came in. We have several in our audience here who are also watching. So you'll hear her every once in a while on the outside. And she's currently single also. You've been telling me what you've experienced.
Well, yes, I've experienced the same thing. It's an online world. It's a digital world. You know, it's digital in work, digital in personal life. But this is what frightens me. When I do, and I'm an optimist, so when I do meet that person for me, that man for me, not only are you going to have to get to know each other and, you know, all that, now I have to worry about low T and how I feel and he feels, you know, that's what's frightening me.
Back to that communication
That's right.
thing. My husband and I had many a conversation on a Sunday morning about, okay, so do we still like this? Do we not like this? And I've actually I asked him the question, I said, how do you feel about my weight gain? Because, you know, weight gain's part of aging. And he said, as long as you don't say anything about me being fat, I'm not going to say anything to you. So I was like, you're in. So, but there is a lot to be said for self-image, and we certainly we're not having sex in front of mirrors anymore or anything like that.
Oh, right, man.
Over mirrors or anything.
Anywhere near mirrors.
I think
We've
you're
taken
absolutely-
every mirror out of the house.
Yes.
No, you're right, and especially, and I don't know if you felt this way when you were online. You've got to have a good,
Sense of humor.
good. Well, yes, good, yeah, we've got that here. No, good self-esteem, because when you are meeting people online, they can see it in a minute, or even on the phone. I mean, when you don't, when you don't feel good about yourself, and we all have our own issues, but when you don't feel good about yourself, that comes out, and they can hear it and see it, and that's not attractive.
Unless it
I
has a
think
bra.
the good thing
I
about
love
being
drapery.
older is that you get to pick and choose. It's not like, oh, I'm desperate. You know, you're usually set in the way you have your own house, you have your own stuff going on. You don't have to worry about really anything.
Yeah,
So
it's
like you
not
can pick and
about-
choose.
It's not about a free
Not
dinner.
desperate.
Not about free dinner.
Well, it's not about procreating, and it's not the kids, and it's not sitting at the family things like, I got mine, honey, you got yours, and we're doing pretty good. Has sex drive been a concern for you? And if it has, I just want a couple of words from each of you. I want to hear what you suggest to get yourself back in the mood other than 50 Shades of Grey. I can say 2 words that really speak to that. Hotel sex. I feel good about it. Okay, what would you suggest? I want to hear from you.
Is
So I'm answering is sex drive.
Anything is sex, do we feel it? And from your point of view, from a holistic wellness coach and a nutritionist, what do you see that we can do to do a little bit better in that area to alleviate those kind of stresses?
Oh, I have a lot of suggestions, but we don't have time.
I know this girl that you go
However, though, you can't be everything to everybody, but you yourself, you got to take care of you, and that means just very simply, maybe that means getting some sleep. Maybe that means eating
Amen.
better.
There you go.
Amen
I
to
love
sleep.
that.
Energy is huge with all my clients. That's the number one thing. I just am so tired all the time. So we do a lot of things. Let's look at our diet. Let's look at your sleep. Let's look at your water intake. That gives you a lot of energy.
A lot of water.
amongst about a lot of other things. And then just always, I love these suggestions. Be confident, be visual, realize that maybe the things that are in your head aren't in his head.
So I think for me, it's being honest with yourself, being honest with your partner. I think if something's not working, you have to be honest about it. My husband and I had a very difficult conversations recently about lack of sex drive and where I'm at, and that I'm just not in the mood ever. And he's like, I want to be with you and I love you. And I'm like, well, that's not where I'm at. So we're going to have to work harder. We have to make that commitment. And I don't want him going somewhere else. He's not quick to do that anyway. So we just have to be honest, communicate, and be willing to try new things and be present and accounted for in that relationship.
We found, it's okay if we don't have sex. We get our jollies from other things.
So you're talking about letting go of expectations.
Yes,
A lot
of
here, I
not
think, is
worrying
what you're
about, newlyweds were supposed to have sex 2 or 3 times a day.
I do think that you've got to take care of yourself. The foods that we eat, I think a lot of what we ingest, certainly makes us act the way we do.
Messes up.
But beyond all that, got to be communication. Got to be communication.
Leslie?
I love my pellet.
Go get one of those.
My pellet makes me think I'm that age again.
I am so going to
It
get one.
really has made a
No,
difference.
it has
hasn't
made such a difference.
think
My
it's-
my skin is better. I feel good. I feel healthier.
Well, and I can tell you I'm going to just be honest with you, Miss Kirby, how much did you lose?
How much
Thank
weight did you
you.
lose?
I don't think I lost very much.
Okay, well, I
It
can
just
promise
redistributed.
She
Have
really
you
did.
ever seen
I'm
a
gonna
pound of
tell you.
hamburger? That's a lot.
From that
She
pill?
looks fantastic.
No, it's a
and you
pellet.
could
It's
tell.
an implant.
But from that made you
Yes,
lose weight?
because it increased my testosterone, which increases muscle.
Yeah.
It's about $100 a month, but I've never felt better. I've been doing it for about 2 years.
Well, and I've got to tell you, because I walked up to you after not seeing you, after about 3 months, and I'll go ahead and tell this story. I walked up and went, What have you done? And couldn't resist. You looked absolutely wonderful.
you.
Still look wonderful
No, it
today.
just made me feel better. It made me feel younger.
Your eyes are very
I'm telling you,
bright.
thank you. My skin improved.
Her coat is shiny.
Everything. Exactly. It made my coat very shiny.
Her coat is shiny, as it turns out.
And when we balanced his tea, we were so happy.
All right, there we go. Bobby, I got to hear it from you.
But really and truly, being married 47 years, you have. It's almost like I can open my mouth and he knows what's going to come out of it, and vice versa. So it's one of those things that we're so enmeshed that if I don't like something, don't want to do something, I just tell him, and it's all fine, and vice versa. So we really, as long as that touchy feeling, and Butch is really wonderful at every day. He will hug me and kiss me, and he will say, "You are so pretty." And I could be dog ugly, and he still says it. And I'm
He's
going,
a precious man.
His eyes are going bad, but good.
Jennifer, I'm going to throw you to you as the last one.
I always go with vacation sex. You gotta have vacations. You gotta take a break from
Yes.
life. And when it comes to like everyday type issues, it's like, oh my God, I'm so drained, I'm so tired. I've been on my feet all day, doing hair all day, 10-hour day. And sometimes it just boils down to, okay, I'm going to pound an energy shot or an energy drink because I want to go on a date and I want to have fun. And it's sometimes just out of getting out of that exhausted mood and getting some caffeine or something.
We have had a wonderful time talking with you about sex over the age of 50. And I have to say some thank yous very quickly. First off, thank you to the Oklahoman for allowing us to bring you all of this information, including cold water in our labs. Second off, thank you to our wonderful panelists who are just did a great job and had so much fun. We really appreciate you. Third off, I've got to thank Mike Turek and the Turek family from wonderful Old Germany Restaurant and Turek's Tavern. Woo! We love you, baby. Mwah! Thank you to you, Sammy, Mama, and everybody. We love you very much. Once again, I am your hostess with the mostest, Lisa Crow, with your What the Hell moments. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again, baby. Ciao. Woo! Right.